Hey, who turned out the lights? It's 3 in the afternoon. Oh yeah, it's that eclipse thing. Well, I guess I don't need these on anymore. Was that it? That didn't last no 4 minutes. I didn't even have time to drink a beer. All right, back to work. Hey, hello. Welcome back to Klep's Garage. I'm your host, Bruce, and today, this will be the second part in the series of the Barn Find Challenger that we aired here a couple weeks ago. Anyhow, today is the first wash day. We're going to give it a bath, see how good it cleans up, and we're going to delve into a little bit more of the history. I've done some research on the car. A lot of things have come to light, so we're going to enlighten you on that, why this car is a keeper, or why it has relevance in history. So come along. Let's find out about this today. Got the seats dug out. They seem to have a little mold on them. Let's see if we can get rid of the mold. I need more stuff. We gotta let that set anyhow. Okay, so this really isn't the day to do this, because it's only about 38 out here. They will clean up. We'll probably recover them, although the original, I could show it as original, but I can get them clean. That's just the first wave. Alright, so we'll get a first look at the Challenger after we gave it its first bath. So it cleaned up really nice. I think that paint will actually shine up. I don't know. I think I'm just going to make a Survivor out of this because, you know, they're only original once. I can touch up this side, resquirt some orange paint on that, and put some new metal down there in that hole. But I don't know. I'm thinking this is a pretty good Survivor, really, for the shape it was in when we pulled it out of that barn. It's a lot better now. Show you the engine compartment. That was the worst. Woo! I'm still not done with that. I got to steam clean it, but this was just the first bath. So there's the power plant. And yes, it is a small block 318 with a 2-barrel, and I'll go into more detail about why it was ordered that way in just a minute. Stay tuned. Alright, we got the first layer of crud washed off of it. It's going to need more cleaning, and of course we'll change tires, but just wanted to see how they cleaned up. Anyhow, let's delve in a little bit to the history of this car. Of course, sitting in that little shed that it was in, we couldn't get to the serial number. We couldn't see the serial number. We couldn't find the body tag that's located out here on the driver's side fender. So we really didn't know anything about the car other than it was orange, white interior, and it was convertible. That's about all I knew about it. I had some inklings about a thing here, which we'll delve into, but I didn't know until we got the car out. I got the car out, ran the serial number. Son Ted went online and went on my hunch about this. Maybe it was the same color as the 1971 Indy 500 pace car. Turns out there's a website, IndyPaceCars.com. Hope you can see this. Let me see if you can see this. Yeah, you can kind of see this. Anyhow, so turns out this car was built March of 1971. Ironically, it was March 2024 when we resurrected it from the dead. So, March 1971, the car was ordered. It was also ordered with 50 other identical cars. Hemi orange, what they call this? Yeah, Hemi orange, white convertible top, hood pins, flat hood, meaning no shaker hood, no cowl inducted hood. And pretty sure all 50 cars had drum brakes all the way around. That's important. Plus, it did have a power top, which I found interesting, but it did have a power top. So, how did this get to be in the lineup of the pace cars? Well, let me tell you. So back in 1971, our nice government laid down the law on pollution standards, and by 70, all the cars were muscle cars, had the most horsepower. Cadillac had the most horsepower in 1970. Government come out and said, oh no, we need emissions control, we need the smog pumps put on, you need to lower your horsepower. So the muscle car was kind of dying out. It just wasn't popular. So there's a little race over in Indianapolis called the Indy 500. It's been going on since 1911. This particular year and every other year, they've always had a pace car. Usually, one of the automakers provides the pace car because it's great advertisement. Look at this car. Look how fast it goes. Why, it leads the pack. Anyhow, none of the big three wanted to offer cars that year because of the regulations. So, a group of 4 dealerships in Indianapolis, the lead dealer being Eldon Palmer, decided they was going to order 50 of these cars identical. Oh, did I fail to mention, it also has a small block 318 with a 2-barrel. Okay, so this was ordered as basically a base model car. I did find out that the actual pace car, the one they actually used, had a 383. I'm guessing maybe 4-barrel. I don't know. I need to do some more research. But anyhow, the 50 that was ordered, this one is car number 29 out of 50. And also that's kind of neat about it, the last 2 digits of the serial number, there are 5 cars in sequential order. So the last 2 digits of the serial number, there was 41, 42, 43, 44, and this one's 45. So I find that to be really odd because usually the big 3 automakers, they didn't just roll out 50 of these cars in a row. There's been like this Challenger would have come down the line, and then maybe a Polara, then maybe, I don't know, maybe a truck. But it was never in sequential order. So I found that really interesting. There was 2 sets of sequential numbers in the 50 cars. This was the bigger of the 2 sets. So this is car number 45, if you will. Number 29 in the lineup of the 50 cars, including the number 1 pace car. So, races on May 21st, 1971, which was the 55th running of the Indy 500. All right, so I just showed you the picture of the actual pace car and what it looked like with the lettering on it. And so they ordered all these 50 cars, the 4 dealers did, and they put lettering on it. It was some sort of a vinyl cling lettering. It wasn't a permanent lettering. It wasn't painted on. So they put all the lettering on these cars. They passed the cars out about 60 days in advance to the race, and they usually let dignitaries or members of the board of directors or whomever was assigned to one of these cars. They got to drive it for 60 days. Race day, it was their job to drive the car on the track. Usually there was a parade lap or 2, and they hauled dignitaries and queens and whatever. So this car, and there's a picture, I'm going to try to put it up here. There is a picture of the 50 cars on the track, however, you can't really see all 50 cars, but you can tell there's a bunch of them. So the 50 cars was ordered, and this goes on about every year. There's more than 1 pace car. They aren't used as a pace car, but they were on the track. This was actually a track car. So this was used by a retired Major General by the name of Robert, his last name just escaped me. Hold that thought. I'm going to look it up. Like I was saying, this car was driven by a retired Major General by the name of Robert G. for Grant Moorhead. So I'm calling this the General Grant. Yeah, there's a whole history thing about that too, but not the General Grant. 1971. Anyhow, so Mr. Moorhead was assigned to drive this car around, do the parade lap and all that stuff. This is where it gets interesting. So day of the race, they get the actual pace car out there. It had 2 yellow flags on the back bumper sticking up. It was driven by Eldon Palmer, the dealer that instigated the ordering of the 50 cars. Riding shotgun was Tony Holman, who was the owner of the Indy track, I'm pretty sure, at that time. In the back seat was astronaut John Glenn from Ohio, and also a future senator from Ohio, Chris, I'm going to butcher his name, Schriegel. Anyhow, you can look this up on the internet. It's all there. So these 4 are in the car. Lead lap. Parade cars out there. Got the lineup. Oh, by the way, Al Unser's in this lineup of race cars for the day. And he will go on to win the race. It was his 31st birthday on May the 29th of 1971. Anyhow, they're running around the track, and they're up to speeds of probably over 100. So the lead pace car comes pulling in off the lead lap into the pit row at over 100 plus mile an hour. This is where I think the drum brakes come in. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that pace car had drum brakes on it. Reason why? They couldn't get it stopped. Slid it sideways, ran it into a photographer's stand, almost killed somebody, injured at least 20-some people. Was the first and only pace car incident in the whole running of the race since 1911. And it instigated a rule from then on that any driver had to be a professional race driver to drive the pace car. But this all happened on that race. And so you say, well, how come the family I got it off of didn't know anything about this? Well, here's where it gets interesting. So remember, 4 dealerships ordered these cars. After the race, they had to get rid of the cars because they owned them. So the lettering was all peeled off. There's no sign of lettering. And they all went to those 4 dealers to sell. Well, they couldn't sell 50 cars, so they farmed them out to other dealers. This car made its way over to Dayton, Springfield, Ohio area at a dealership called Miami Valley Dodge. Miami Valley Dodge apparently couldn't sell the car new, and one of the salesmen drove it. And for about a year and a half, that's when the guy that I bought off the car, his aunt, bought the car off the dealer. She paid $1,400 for it, I'm told, about a year and a half after it was new. No idea that this was a pace car or anything to do with the Indy 500 track. She then drove the car for about 70,000 miles up to the year 1978. 1978, we had a little blizzard here in Ohio. There was like, I don't know, 10 foot of snow. It was ridiculous. You can look that up. But anyhow, I was alive then. I remember it. It was not fun. Car was sitting on the street. Somebody came out of the VFW late at night, was 3 sheets to the wind, and run into the back of the car. So her father repaired the car, but he never trusted his welds, and he wouldn't let her drive it. That's the reason why the car sat. So the car sat from 1980 probably when they finished working on it until I got it here in 2024. So the car's got significant history. It's worth saving. We're going to try to do an original save. I'm going to keep the original motor because everybody that's seen this the first video of this, oh, you got to put a 446 back in there. Well, you know, this car wasn't ordered that way, and they are only original once. So we're going to leave the 318 in there. It's a matching number engine. Why wouldn't you? We might change the carburetor, and the only reason why is because the throttle's stuck, but I'm debating on that. I might go to 4-barrel, and I might go dual exhaust. That would be the only thing I would change. We're going to try to buff and save the original paint. I've got a paint guru you've seen in our Chrysler episode. I'll put a link down here where he matched the original paint on a 1959 Chrysler, so I'm sure he can match this paint. The other side has some primer on it from the accident. We're going to match that paint. We're going to leave some of the patina on this. There's a rust hole on the other quarter we're going to fix. And I think I can clean this. You've seen in the video me cleaning the seats. I think I can clean this up enough that it's presentable to be a survivor. And I think that's the way this car needs to be done. I mean, if somebody wants to give me stupid money for it and they want to spend stupid money getting it restored, you know, rotisserie rack, frame, or not frame, but ground up, more power to them. But I just don't see myself selling this thing anytime soon. So anyhow, there's the story behind the Challenger. We'll be coming out with another one trying to get the motor loosened up and maybe running. That's going to be more involved. So stay tuned, stay with us, and until then, drive them if you got them, or find them where you can. Yeah, because they're still out there. I know some of you people say, oh, that's a myth. No, it's not. In fact, I'm working on another one right now that's a barn find. They're out there. It takes some time, energy, and it took me 10 years to get this one. So you just got to stay on it. And number one thing is you can't be telling everybody about it. That's how the urban legends come. Oh, yeah, so-and-so's got a car now. Why, it's worth $5 million. Yeah. Yeah, I know all about it. No, they didn't. Anyhow, we'll see you. Thanks for watching. Well, I guess I don't need these anymore. Wasn't that amazing how that Total Eclipse just cleaned this car up? Yeah, well, now that it's cleaned up a little bit, I got the first layer of crud off. We got a lot more to go, but the inside's kind of, well, fragrant. Yes. Needs a wash. So there you go. All about the little orange Challenger. Hemi Red, or whatever it's called. So, remember, drive them if you got them. We'll see you next time. How do you get out of here? Oh my God. This ain't gonna work. Yeah, we'll just roll out of here. Woo! All right, we got the car all cleaned up. Well, first round, it needs more cleaning, but we got the majority of the dirt washed off of it. Now let's delve into a little bit of the history of this car. It's actually quite unique. Of course, we couldn't figure anything out because we couldn't see the serial number or the dash, sorry. Let's start this over again. Who dash plate? Oh, it's on fender. Fender tag. Yeah, that's what I want.